Hello there. Come in. Are you ready for some WrestleMash? I know we are. I'm Paul, and once again, it has been a busy week in pro wrestling. But first, let me tell you about this podcast. WrestleMash is one of the 3 podcast parts which, when formed together, make the mega powers that is the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and on all audio streaming platforms. Liking what you're listening to? Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to leave us
5 stars, baby! Boom!
Yes, my boy! And speaking of the boom, bringing the boom are the mega powers upon this podcast. It is the Wish Viking himself, Macho Mick, and Hulk Harvey brother. Yeah. So lads, how are we doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Again, I have no space for random questions such as the week we have in wrestling, the things we've got to cover. My God. Oh, you want to know what's on this week's show?
Let's do it. Tell me.
I'm not telling you, fuck it. No, I'm joking. What is on this week's show? We're going to talk FTR. Are they the GOATs? Wheeler Yuta and how he might have stolen the show. Tony Khan and his accusation of bots. Oh, what is that all about? And obviously, we had the fan poll for Keith Lee a couple of weeks ago on that lovely wee Facebook group. As always, we've got hot takes, we've got shite jokes, we've got high hopes, we've got Paul taking a million attempts to get this all out. Let's ring the bell. Right, so lads, first thing to talk about on the podcast here. And what I thought was going to be the only 5-star kind of all-time kind of match of the week, but turns out it's no. FTR and the Young Bucks on AEW Dynamite. Let's discuss it. What do we think straight off the bat?
It was an entirely different match for their match they had with the Briscoes just a few days prior. But it was yet another 5-star tag team match for them.
It definitely was, Mick. I think that's absolutely the best way to put it. It's a totally different type of music, but it doesn't mean it's not amazing to listen to watch. It was phenomenal. It really was.
I think if you've watched that, but you haven't seen part 1, if you haven't seen their match from All In, I think it was. No, Full Gear.
It was Full Gear 2020, I'm sure, wasn't it? Aye. Full Gear 2020
that sounds right.
Jacksonville.
So, per Paul's recommendation, I made a point to watch that match prior to watching Dynamite. And with having that fresh in my memory, there was a lot of what they did in part 2 that was callbacks to stuff that happened in the first match. There was a lot of psychology going on, storytelling, building on their initial feud, and sort of progressing things forward. And it was a masterclass in pro wrestling.
It really is mad to think that this match was 18 months after the first meeting. That in itself is a fantastic endorsement in how deep the tag sort of roster is in AEW, that this has been 18 months, but yet it still feels kind of fairly fresh in the memory, such as the quality of match it was. I mean, the first one was like a love letter to tag team wrestling. You had a lot of callbacks. This one was the fight. This one was the actual fight between two teams who wanted to win. Obviously, the ultimate prize in this case was the Ring of Honor tag belts and the AAA tag belts, which were both up for grabs here. For me, lads, Dax Harwood, potentially the best wrestler working on TV right now for me. He's the modern Arn Anderson. He doesn't look like your bodybuilder kind of man with the lovely muscular frame with the gorgeous abs and the fantastic hair and all that. But I believe this man wants to beat his opponent up, and I believe he wants to win, and I believe him when he's taking punishment. This guy he's at least in the discussion for Wrestler of the Year for me.
Aye, he's up there. He's unquestionably one of the best workers of the year. He is legitimately good. Even in his singles matches that we've seen recently, he's been just as good. And he is a master of, and I mean Cash as well, but like, he's a master of tag team wrestling. The timing, the selling, the storytelling, just everything. Just good. Just better than good. Amazing.
It's you could there's a million ways to describe the guy and his work right now. I mean, I think there's a lot of praise going to be given to Cash as well, though, as the kind of the in peril sort of babyface lads. I mean, he was phenomenal. I mean, he takes the finisher and obviously the leg just flops onto the rope to kind of keep them alive, man.
Mm-hmm.
These guys have been heels all their life. For you, Harvey, what do you think about that? The fact that we've never seen these guys as face before, but yet
it's interesting. They've always been they've always been the heel, like the baddest guys. Like, but why? I mean, it's working.
It's definitely working.
Like, you know what I mean? Them as a tag team. Oh God, amazing. I don't know what like. Try to remember. Obviously, watching them, I've seen them wrestle a few times, but then against the Briscoes, it just like seemed to they stepped it up to another level, and then obviously again there it's on another level again, because I don't remember ever seeing them wrestle at that level. Like,
I think what you maybe see is that when they're against tag teams that are good, they make them look great, and when they're against tag teams that are great, like the Briscoes, like the Young Bucks, then they just go to another planet.
It's a whole time. Like, I mean, I would still rate the Briscoes match as being better than this, lads. I think, for my money, and still
as a standalone match, aye. The Young Bucks, there's more facets to what's happening with the Young Bucks, and it's a longer sort of storytelling thing, a lot more psychology. But the Briscoes was just straight up absolute all-time classic wrestling match. There's one thing I just want to say quickly. You mentioned Cash getting praise for playing the part of the babyface, taking the bump, the leg drapes on the ropes to keep them alive. That's a direct callback to their first match when Cash should have had the match won, but didn't pull, I think it was Matt, but I'm not sure, whatever one it was, he didn't pull him away from the ropes far enough. Right. And when he went for the pin, the leg fell on the ropes.
See, I mean, I didn't even think of that, man, but I mean, I honestly, I can't talk enough about that, lads, with AEW, all these you're rewarded for watching closely.
Aye.
And for looking for Easter eggs. It's a reward you get. You're no punished for that. You're not seen as some sort of stupid mark who's trying to see something in the detail. You know what I mean? Aye, like there's no punishment in that. They're trying to make the experience all that more immersive, and it's
yep.
That makes me enjoy it all the more, Mick. To be honest, see when you bring that up, I think with this match as well is that the crowd helped both teams so much. Let's see the pop for the hot tag when Dax comes in. The place has gone nuts for him, and they've got to kind of get the flowers as well, as it were, for how much they contributed to the match.
Question for you, Paul: would you like to see them go full on face, or do you think they should just stay as this kind of tweener team at the moment? I think this is perfect now. I don't think they should be acknowledging the crowd as faces. I think you just keep them as this fighting team who are out there to be the best. Like, certainly what Bret Hart was back in his day. Like, aye.
Bret Hart wasn't coming out and
comparison.
Let me hear you, whatever your name, place we're in, kind of thing. Like,
yep.
He was all about being the best, and that was his character, was that he wanted to win because this meant so much to him. And ultimately, he got over all the more for that because the crowd love to see that kind of effort and that kind of passion for their kind of trade. Like, so I think what they're doing right now it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect, and it's working. It's working.
Yep.
I don't know what comes of the pinnacle in general. I imagine in time that kind of changes. God knows what. I don't even want to think about fantasy booking. I just want to enjoy what this is with the best tag team out there right now.
Yep.
thing for me, lads. And obviously I'm kind of drawing parallel to Arn Anderson and Dax. There is a very, very obvious Arn Anderson parallel in AEW currently. And this was something that was brought to my attention. It was through a tweet from friend of the show, Andy Tully. This was a match that was on Dark Elevation between former Nightmare Factory guys, Big Shotty Lee and Brock Anderson, up against the Factory. The team was QT and Aaron Solo.
Yep.
The two, I mean, the former Nightmare family guys, obviously. I mean, what potential they two guys have still got. It's something that I don't look for every week, Dark Elevation, but when I do, I'm usually rewarded. And to be fair to Andy with this shout, this was a tremendous shout for a match.
Aye. I mean, it's a wee buried gem.
I think we've all kind of looked at it now, haven't we?
Well, I've never, until now, I hadn't previously sat down and watched a full episode, Dark Elevation. I'd seen clips for various things that had popped up on social media, like, oh, this match was good, and I'll go and check out a particular match. But I had seen that formerly Big Show, Paul White, he'd been involved a lot in the marketing for this show because it was happening in his hometown. And apparently it's very, very rare that pro wrestling goes to his hometown or the bigger shows. So he'd been doing a lot of local promotion, and as part of that, they decided that he should have a match to kind of reward the local fans for coming out. So I'm a big fan of Paul White, Big Show. I've been watching him since he was called the Giant. So I was keen to see what kind of shape he was in. Probably not worth talking about, but it's still an attraction.
It's an attraction. I mean, he is. He'll always be an attraction.
But aye. So point being, I actually had sat and watched Dark Elevation, and I had seen this match, and it was a wee buried gem. It was an absolute cracker of a tag match.
Aye, I mean, he is. He's obviously he's still a young wrestler. He's still very early in his career. Brock Anderson.
Do you know what age he is?
He should be anywhere between 21 and 40.
He's cracking a face, isn't he?
He doesn't back kind of look about him, man. I believe he's about 23 years old or 24.
Right, okay.
He's in his very early 20s. But he's like his dad. He could be anywhere. You could give him any age, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, even now, you could say, somebody could tell you, if you didn't know who Arn Anderson was, somebody could tell you that, Ken, he's only 44, and you'd be like, oh, he's got enough life, but I know, I can see that.
Just one of these kind of faces, man. He's 25, is he?
Right.
He's 25 years old. He's only started recently within the last kind of year or so, I think. And obviously through his dad working with AEW, he's found his way in through the Nightmare family.
That's all the more impressive if he's that young in his career.
Aye,
I mean, he's got his dad in him, man. He has potential.
He moves like his dad. He carries himself like his dad. I think for me, the only thing he would maybe need to work about, obviously he's a bit shorter. So he maybe needs a bit more of a kind of. I mean, I'm criticising his physical shape, and he's in great physical shape, but he just maybe needs to look that bit more tougher. He looks a bit soft now, I think, is probably the one criticism of him. Like, I'm not believing he's going to kick my arse. Not unless he kind of he gets to showcase that he's a tough fighter, so on and so forth.
I think if he had a more developed character, that could potentially do the job. But as he is the new, he would benefit for like standing out physically or whatever. Aye.
And I mean, it's not to say that he can't portray a character that's a tough guy. I mean, like I say, the perfect example is Dax currently.
Yep.
Which is a man who's obviously he's a bit heavier set, but you believe that he's going to kick your arse. And Brock's got a lot of that in him. He's got a lot of his dad in him. The spine buster he hit was bang on.
Why? That was perfection.
Sweet, very, very sweet.
Aye.
I love a good spine buster.
I'm partial to a spine buster. I was impressed with.
It's a very good move. He does it very well.
Do you think a moustache might help him if he went down the route of Dax?
Can I get big old handlebar man? I mean, imagine he's
tough guy, his moustache.
He's got the facial hair kind of in him, man. He looks as if he just needs to blow on his thumb and a beard appears. Like, imagine if he blew on his thumb, a big bugger off moustache would appear as well.
He needs to watch himself when he coughs. He needs to internalise his coughs, and it's just a
He turns into a woodcutter, man. Out of nowhere, man. There's a few guys in modern wrestling. I would chuck. But to talk of the old spine buster, he's got a very good spine buster that stands up against the likes of I think probably the best I've seen modern wise. Will Hobbs is a very, very good spine buster. I love his. I like his style. Have you ever come across Sha Samuels in WWE NXT UK?
Ooh,
what a spine buster that man has, by the way.
Oh, good call,
he absolutely bodies them down, man. He's fantastic.
He was in ICW for a bit, wasn't he?
He was, He's one of the
that's where
I've
seen him.
That's where I've seen him. Working with Grado and the like, and Jack Jester and all that. But he is a tremendous spine buster.
Yeah,
he does. It's definitely up there with one of my favourite kind of moves. So it is. Definitely. Right, so, I mean, we've talked about one 5-star match this week, in the past 7 days, obviously recording day here for the Mashed Tattie Gang Sunday. We have just also seen a match between John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta on AEW Rampage.
Yep.
Now, there was considerable online buzz kind of hyped up about this leading into the weekend. Obviously, everything for AEW's TV was all recorded on the same day, so this would have been recorded after the Young Bucks and FTR match, and that was to say, you want to see this match. By Christ, was that a match and a half, man.
Phenomenal. Just brutal, but phenomenal. It was just a really well worked pro wrestling match, man. And again, so many sort of callbacks and the psychology of it. It was telling a sort of story that like that was the culmination of like an angle they've been working on for the past 2 months or something.
It might even have been longer when you think about it, because I mean, obviously the first time Yuta faced Moxley killed him within about 10 seconds.
Yep.
And then he faces him again and he gets a wee bit of offense in, kind of shows himself up no bad, and then this time he's in God mode, man.
Yep.
I mean, he kicked out at one paradigm shift. I thought, oh, they're giving him a good rub here. And then he kicked out the second one and I went, what the fuck's going on?
Yep.
And then obviously they finish it with
escapes the bulldog choke.
Aye.
Just aye.
It was awesome.
What a match, man.
I love the way he kind of borrowed a wee bit from Darby Allin's playbook there, where Moxley's making his entrance, and from out of nowhere there's a flying Yuta.
Aye.
Scalping into him, man. That's straight out of Darby Allin's kind of game, that.
Actually, I had to rewind. I had looked away for a second, then I looked up, like I heard the commentators going nuts, and I looked up and they were on the deck. I'm like, wait, what? The match was started. What's going on?
Kelly's going through my kitchen to get a drink, and I come back through going, wait, what? See, I had to rewind to see what the hell's been on. It was a phenomenal match, and obviously it culminates in the much desired handshake at the end from Regal.
Yep.
And then this is a thing that I love that AEW seem to be very good at with their camera work, is that they've not got a microphone underneath Moxley, but you can audibly hear him roaring, now the hard work starts, now the real work starts.
Yep.
As he's going out the ring with the two of them. So wow, man, wow.
Very, very interested to see where they go with this now.
Oh, it was violence, man. Pure violence. Loved it. I also love that hoodie, that Blackpool Combat Club hoodie. The Moxley was kind of wearing. I love the design of that. It's wouldn't be something I'd usually wear as the kind of wrestling merch. Now and again, yes, but that's a sexy bit of kit, man. What are you saying?
Do we? It's maybe a wee bit obvious in terms of booking here, but do we think that Blackpool Combat Club now feuds with the Best Friends?
Possibly, aye. I think that's maybe a certain sect of the Best Friends. I think it would be. It's going to be Chuck and
Trent.
God, what is his name? I'm going Greg, but that's his shoot name. That's his actual shoot name, man. That's his actual name.
Government name.
Aye. His government name. Aye, so Chuck and Trent Barretta and maybe, I don't know, Rocky Romero or whatever, obviously, because he's worked a few times in AEW now, Rocky. But there's also Orange Cassidy, who's recovering from an injury. I mean, that's a perfect victim for the Blackpool Combat Club, isn't it, man? him with his hands in his pockets and them determined they're going to kill you.
Yep.
I've started a poll on my favourite wee Facebook group on the AEW UK. I don't know if it's been approved yet, but it was to ask who anybody thought could be member number 4 of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Oh.
And I'm gonna open that up to you guys. Any wee kind of guy, anybody you would think would fit in there. Who would you like? I've also got a left field shout that might surprise you. That you might think terrible idea, or you might think absolutely yes.
Has to be somebody that's relatively young.
Probably needs to be another younger member, another young boy, I would think. I mean, I think the obvious one was Garcia until he went with Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yep.
Lee Moriarty is obviously there too.
I mean, I kind of wouldn't want to talk. I kind of like, purely because of Ring of Honor being there now, I would kind of want to leave Lee Moriarty alone with Matt Sydal in it. I kind of like the idea of them going back forward to Ring of Honor. I don't know if I want to break them up. Who would make sense? Harvey, you go in it?
What about a female? Start with
Now you're talking.
Hey, right, who though? Who?
That's the... I don't know. That's the thing.
Again, probably want somebody younger that needs a bit of training. See if she wasn't sort of rougher on the edges, the way the booking's been going. I would say that I can't remember her name now. The young lassie from the Varsity Blondes.
Oh, Julia Hart. Julia Hart.
See, because of the way her booking's been going, like she's having, I don't know, mental issues or whatever they're trying to portray through the angle that they had with House of Black, and she's had
I wonder if that's where she's
issues
going.
with the eye, and she seems to be going heel. She seems to be turning away from them. She would be interesting, but for me, she's not good enough. You know what I mean? It sounds a wee bit harsh, but I don't think she's good enough to warrant putting in that faction.
No.
What about obviously. What about oh god, what's her name?
Layla Hush.
No. She doesn't even wrestle in AEW.
Right, that's gonna be a bit of a problem.
WWE.
That you can't go across.
I'm stealing somebody.
Save this for the next item. You're crossing streams here, Harvey.
I think we're talking about something later in the podcast that might make more sense to talk about.
Why?
Come back to that though.
Just a bit of
Jamie Hayter, maybe.
Oh, that's exactly who I was just about to say.
Okay.
Oh,
right.
sorry.
I'm a bit tougher. Right. Okay.
But a wee bit further on in her career than maybe what's ideal. However, she's got that kind of style about her. If you work the angle right, where breaking away for Britt Baker, you might have her. It might be hard to go full face with her, but you could land her in a tweener, and she could become a member. I could see that working.
Yeah, I'm going to chuck this back out to the male side and suggest Hook. I'm going to send for Hook.
I knew I was, there was something I was thinking about that myself, and I was like, maybe not.
Is he too cool for them, or is he too?
Certainly not anytime soon. See, apart from anything else, they haven't even managed to get him to speak yet.
Very true.
They're doing this weird thing with him where they constantly have him be getting asked questions in interviews.
Nonchalant.
And then he just kind of shrugs his shoulders and then wanders away. I'm intrigued to see what they do with him and mine just went blank. The Danhausen.
Yes.
They seem to be working on something there, which I'm not sold on it yet, but it could be good.
It better be a match with Danhausen, man, because he's just like cutting about in the background. I want to see a Danhausen match. People need to see this. There's a point to this silliness, as it were, because he's legit, man. He's a good wrestler, is Danhausen.
What about somebody like Miro or that? No, Miro, sorry. Well, Miro. You could have Miro, or what's the MGS fucking bodyguard.
Or Wardlow. I doubt Wardlow's going in, mate. Wardlow's going down the superhero route.
I've got one.
Sure.
That's a risky one.
Right. We'll move on after this one. Let's nail it here, Mick.
Sammy
Okay.
Guevara.
Savara.
Ooh. It would take some amount of booking to get him.
So they're doing this mad angle with ATT. It's all a bit. If that sort of plays out over the next few weeks, and the crowd are still going the way they're going, so you want to make him potentially have a heel turn or something, there could be an angle where he gets involved with the Blackpool Combat Club, and they basically kick his ass, and then he goes on to have a succession of matches with each of them, and ultimately kind of realises that he's missing a facet of his game, and he signs up. It could be doable.
You can make that argument for a lot of people, that kind of serious up a guy kind of argument. I mean, he's got the ability to work with all of them, like, certainly. I don't know, man. I don't know what the next step is. Certainly, I think it's going to be matches with the best friends, though, with a newly focused Wheeler Yuta.
I think it's a shame, sorry, I can't try to move on a bit. I think it's a shame that they've went the route of putting Garcia in with Jericho's crew, because I think he would have been an obvious choice.
Aye, I get why they're doing it. I think they're wanting to bring a character out of Garcia, because obviously he is already there as a worker, like, in ring. He's perfect. It's just adding a bit of sports entertainment to him, like the way they did with Sammy Guevara. And Jericho is obviously the kind of mentor kind of guy there. I can see why. I can see the logic in it, certainly. But I'll tell you what, we'll move on to some utter ridiculousness, lads, from the land of the Titans, which is WWE. Name change-o-mania once more.
When will they learn?
SmackDown call-ups this week. Raquel Gonzalez, now Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, that's harmless enough. That's whatever.
What?
I don't know why they need to do it. They've had her be called Raquel Gonzalez on their TV for 3 years. I mean, it's strange, but whatever. I can deal with that. This is the one I can't deal with, though. Again. And it's again a member of Imperium that's a victim to a name change. Marcel Barthel has now become Ludwig Kaiser.
What?
Aye. And he was very nearly something else, wasn't he?
He was very nearly, I mean, I haven't got the name to hand, but I believe it was another World War II.
It was another Nazi.
Bloody Nazi.
It was another bloody Nazi. It was going to be Ludwig something else, and they found out last minute that just happened to be another Nazi name, and so they decided to change it to Kaiser.
I mean, that's not any worse. That's or better, sorry.
Aye.
What is wrong with Marcel Barthel? I mean, it's a real...
I don't know. What did they try to do?
See, everything about Imperium and everything about Walter, that the slow death of one of the best working big men out there. Like, I don't know if you've been watching Walter recently. He's lost a lot of weight.
Was he? No, I've not seen him in a while.
He's a much thinner, more streamlined wrestler all of a sudden. I mean, he used to weigh in at least a good 300 pounds. He's probably 240-ish now, I would wager.
Well,
I mean, he's lost a hell of a lot of weight. He's a lot more athletic now than he was.
right.
Thus, how am I to believe the weight that he's putting behind these chops and so on and so forth? It was a lot more impressive when this was a big, heavy man
Right.
delivering
Okay.
the heavy punishment. Like, it's like they've seen what he is, they've signed him on what he is, and then they've decided, but you know what? You know what would be better? Let's just make you like everybody else. Slim your weight down. Let's change your name. Fuck it.
Is he still wrestling with much the same style?
Roughly, aye, it would seem to be. But then, this is what I mean. He's not the same guy anymore. It's weird. So they debuted in SmackDown as Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther. They would appear to be a tag team.
Right.
He's going to be a tag team wrestler at the end of the day.
Aye.
Walter, who was their UK champion for a record amount of days, all the buzz. They've took away his music as well. That lovely bit of classical music they used to come out with is gone now.
Right.
So he's, I mean, they've generic this man into the ground. I think it'll not belong before you see Walter in AEW. That's my honest opinion. I could see he'll be released. Mark, in fact, I'll tell you right now, we are recording on the 10th of April 2022. I think by the end of this calendar year, he will be released by WWE. You heard it here first. If I'm wrong, I will speed eat a bunch of currywurst in 10 seconds or something like that. I don't know. Fuck knows. Run into the sea, I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, he'll be released.
Just before we move on for this, I've just pulled up the name. They were going to go with Ludwig Klaus, which is apparently another famous Nazi, and they found out last minute that was a no-no, and somehow come up with Kaiser as a better option. Aegis.
It's awesome, man. It's just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Cannot beat it. What do you guys think about the Tony Khan tweets about the bots? Has he lost the plot, or is he revealing something very shocking to you? And if it is very shocking, should he even be bothering himself with it? What's your kind of take on it, lads?
My quick take is, I don't think he's lost the plot. I actually think there's something there, or he has evidence of it, or he wouldn't have tweeted that. I don't think he's the type of person to just like blindly tweet something like that could have so much repercussions without actually having had evidence.
So I'll read out the tweets actually for you now, guys, just for anybody that hasn't heard it who's listening. So Tony Khan tweeted, an independent study has confirmed that much of the staunch anti-AEW online community aren't real individuals. It is a staff running thousands of accounts plus an army of bots to signal boost them. Look closely. These aren't real people. Who'd pay for such a wildly expensive thing? And then obviously he's followed his eyes. You know exactly who he's hinting at. He's also followed up, research this one yourselves. You internet detectives thrive in these situations. Speaking of wild things, and then he's obviously punted the main event for Rampage. He's also tweeted, ever wonder why so much of the activity of these accounts is retweets and replies? Like, who actually has 80% of their activity is straight up retweets? The Midweek Mashed Tattie can retweet a lot. Does that make us bots? Am I a bot? Are we bots? Is this real life? Or is this just fantasy? I mean,
did you happen to see Danhausen's tweet in amongst that?
I think he tweeted one me, cursed them, Tony.
Do you want me to curse the bots?
Did you read that tweet in Danhausen's voice as well? Want me to curse them, Tony? 100%. Everybody reads Danhausen's tweets in his voice. It's the certainty. So I mean, it's a pretty big statement, obviously, and a very accusatory kind of tone to it.
Accusational.
Accusatory. Nah, that's bullshit. Accusational tone. My English is terrible, man. I feel like you ever seen that? Maybe I'm a bot. You know that? Is it Dr. Steve Brill, the guy who reads out everybody's names terribly? Is it Funny or Die? It's on. I'm sure it is.
No.
I've totally lost these again. Fuck it. Anyway.
Aye.
It's a very big accusation, and obviously there's only so many fingers, so many people you can point fingers at. I'm in form today. Fuck. There's only so many people you can point.
10 to be exact.
Obviously, there are only so many people you can point fingers at in this instance. I mean, what do you think, lads?
I kind of find it amusing, but then at the same time, I'm a bit like, why? Like, I mean, if nothing else, wait until you've got the full report and then just put it out there and just be like, right, here's a thing that we've done, make up your own mind. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Been a wee bit coy with the tweeting. I do find it amusing, but then at the same time, I wonder what his thought process is in doing it. Like, is he trying to cause a bit of fluff? Like, is he trying to make a story out of it? Is it a market ploy in a sense? Is he capitalising on it? I mean, obviously it's a real thing. Like it's a legit study that's been done by a legit company. Like it's totally above board. But I don't think that they'll have went as far as figuring out who's making the payment to whoever's behind the bots and stuff. So I don't think they'll have hard evidence that it is, like, you know, is he's pretty much hinting that it's the McMahons that are behind it. I don't think there's going to be hard proof that it is them. But
I mean, it's a tactic that is well known by one of Vince McMahon's good friends, which is Donald Trump. Like, kind of bot retweeted the signal boosts, all sorts of nonsense. They came with that American election. Like, it's, you know, I saw it and I thought, why are you bothered? But then I also thought, well, I don't think he's lying. I think he should come forward when he's got something to actually say, this is what these buggers are doing. I think you leave it until that exact point. I think all you're doing right now is letting them know that you're affected by it. For me.
Aye.
Why show that it annoys you? Be above
weird.
it.
Strange.
Very, very strange indeed. Very strange.
I don't know why he's done it, but all I know is that there's truth behind it. So why he's put the tweet out and that, who knows?
Aye.
I wonder what his
evidence.
I wonder what his motivation is for doing it.
Aye. That's what I don't know.
How do I word this? Tony Khan strikes me as somebody that is maybe a bit, I don't know, neurodivergent or whatever the phrase is. He doesn't necessarily think and operate like your average person for whatever reason that might be. You know what I mean? He seems a bit socially awkward. He seems kind of hyper intelligent. He seems very focused on data and stuff like that.
He's got the kind of Elon Musk about him, I would say.
Aye.
He definitely has a touch of the Elon Musks.
So maybe that's a factor. You know what I mean? Maybe this is just his kind of social awkwardness when it comes to social media. Like he's just had this thought and thought it would make a good tweet, and he's not fully thought through what exactly he's doing. I don't know.
He's not got the cleanest record with Twitter, as we've kind of seen in the past.
This is a thing.
I'll tell you what though, to totally jump away from that altogether, I did this poll on Keith Lee a couple of weeks ago. I remember I mentioned I was going to bring it up on the podcast, and this was, I'd simply asked my wee Facebook group, after last week's brilliant response to my podcast, blah, 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 that was a couple of weeks ago. So I'm wondering how people feel about Keith Lee in AEW so far. And the answers, I put up 3 options. So answer 1 was, I'm not too concerned for AEW's Limitless. Answer 2 was, loving it so far, basking in the glory, if you will. And number 3 was simply not enjoying it. So, 34 votes for not too concerned for AEW's Limitless, so not worried about it. 12 people, in fact, said that they were loving it, and only 8 said they weren't enjoying it. So, I think the sentiment is that they're keen to see where it's going now. With Keith Lee.
I presume this would have been prior to the sort of angle fully developing that we've now got, where it's basically
this kinda...
Keith Lee and Swerve, Strickland versus Powerhouse Hobbs and other guy. Shit, what's his name?
Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks, that's the one.
Yeah. So that was obviously, that happened. That was the kind of sort of Kool-Aid thing with Keith Lee bouncing him through the wall, innit?
By the way, are we buying that as a wall?
No, obviously it was a Shockmaster kind of wall, wasn't it? That's what it reminded me.
Worse. It was like a bit of painted cardboard. It was loosely held in place with some sellotape or something.
One sheet of plasterboard, wasn't it?
I don't think that was plasterboard. It was like some hardboard or something. It was like really thin.
Shockmaster.
Aye, I think they could have. I think they need to have a word with their props department, because
what I really wanted was the wrestler on the other side to shout he's fell flat on his ass just for a callback, because that's what it was like. It was just the Shockmaster on the other side, man. I mean, comments on this obviously where Paul flew it. Far too early to tell. I think we're seeing a slow build, and good friend Andy Tully, he'd love to hear some more promos from Keith Lee. Obviously, he's kind of known for he's very well-spoken kind of promo, and he's kind of cadence the way he kind of holds his voice. A kind of big thinking man.
Yep.
Like, so I mean, much yourselves there, kind of still kind of waiting to see what comes of Keith Lee right now.
It's for me, as much as I've enjoyed so far seeing him pitted against Powerhouse Hobbs. Ricky Starks to a degree as well when they've kind of came up. But I'm sort of ready for this to be byway now. Like, I just want, like, so they're going to have a tag match next, I believe.
Yeah.
And then presumably we'll get another one-on-one match with Powerhouse Hobbs, I would imagine. And then I'm hoping that then they just move on for there. I don't want to see this strung out because I think that Keith Lee probably deserves to be pushed a wee bit further up the card than he is now. They're kind of just at the introductory stages. Like, they're introducing him to the AEW audience and letting them see what he's about. I'd like to see him go on the mic more and really develop his character within AEW.
I would much prefer to see Keith Lee challenge for the TNT than the current Sammy Guevara American Top Team feud. Because I think that's a waste of television time. What they're doing with the TNT title now really quite annoys me.
Yep.
Nobody's having matches for it. This is meant to be your working man's sort of title where people are challenging for it. And yet, since Scorpio Sky, who is arguably one of the best workers in the company, he's not been in the ring. That's really starting to concern me. And I think Keith Lee's your man to kind of get in about that kind of scene. I would like to see that in time.
I'm not loving that booking at all. Just to pat myself in the back for a second, I did say when he won the title, I mean, initially I thought that Wardlow was going to walk over him, but when that didn't happen and they went down the different route with having MJF get involved there, I did say that there's no way that he's going to be a fighting champ. Just the faction he's in and the character that he's currently playing, there was no way that he was going to maintain the open challenge thing, and they actually made a point of having him cut a promo saying that he was closing the door on that.
I like to see that. I'm so disappointed in that. I mean, I wanted a working heel as a champ, like stealing it every week or doing something just to cling on to it. Like, would have been much better than this. I'm not on board with this at all. You've got one of the best workers in ring in the company holding the belt, and yet it's just shite promo week after week with Sammy. They're also in danger of running Sammy into Cody territory. I think you noticed
potentially,
that. Booing, just booing him.
Aye.
Like it's not going well. It's really not going well. I don't think they need to do a bit of correction there. I think
having Sammy and Ty Conti be very open on telly and Dane McLeodane, I think it's hurting both of them. You know,
it definitely seems. It's not going well for either.
I don't think you need to hide the fact they're in a relationship, but the way they're like rubbing it in everybody's face, it's coming across as very very heelish, but without them embracing being heels, and it's just getting a bit shit, and it's not coming over well at all.
Hopefully the lesson's there to be learned, though, that they turn these two heel when it starts to get very obvious, because I think that point is coming. And I think they may need to, and if they do what they did with Cody, which is ignore the common sense approach, it's going to backfire on Sammy big time, and on Ty Conti.
Question though, is there a feasible way to do that against Scorpio Sky and the crew? Like, do we need them to just get that angle done in byway and have them turn heel against somebody else?
I think against somebody else for me would be the way I'd do it. Somebody who's on the kind of the upswing, as it were. I don't know exactly how you do it, but I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it at all. Tell you what though, Harvey, I believe we're hearing from you with a wee question, my man. In a new section I would like to call We Hear from Harvey. Take it away, my man. Let's hear from you.
So my question was, what female wrestlers from other, let's put it this way, what female wrestlers would you like to see in AEW to like grow the women's division, like in terms of beef it out, and then like have it more interesting in terms of like storylines and stuff. Because at the moment, you just don't really have like the quality of female wrestlers there.
We've only got a couple of big stars in AEW's women's division, that's for sure. There's a lot of good in-ring workers, but star quality, we're only at really Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Really, I mean, I don't think I'm wrong in saying that, lads.
Depends how you. Stars. I'd say they're the two biggest. Aye.
As far as engagement with a crowd, like people enjoy the two.
There was a time where Ty Conti and what's her pal, Anna J.
Aye.
They were very over for a time there. They worked well together.
They didn't really capitalise on that at all.
Let that go for reasons.
They seem to have kind of said, I don't believe Anna J is completely 100% fit though. I know she's always at with tape. But anyway, I'm disappearing way into the wilderness here. So obviously star power is the problem, I think. I think that's the serious problem.
Right.
And I mean, I would love to see Becky Lynch versus Britt Baker in a feud. Britt Baker is an awesome heel, an entertaining, funny heel. And Becky Lynch is, despite the fact she's in WWE and I'm not really a WWE fan, I can recognise that as one of the best face wrestlers in the last 10 years as a woman. Why they continue to book her as a heel is totally beyond me. Like it is their God-given mission to make this lassie a heel when she is so over with the fans, Becky Lynch. I mean, everything about her, the way she carries herself on TV, her in-ring stuff's very, very good. Her character is awesome. On Twitter is where Becky Lynch is phenomenal in social media. Like, when she had that feud with Ronda Rousey, her Twitter game was hilarious. Absolutely brilliant. Ripping out everybody, ripping out Ronda Rousey. That for me would be number one. However, that's not going to happen because she's in with the bricks with WWE. She ain't leaving there anytime soon.
I've a few that kind of jump to mind that I'd like to see in AEW. I think in terms of sort of star power and notoriety on social media and all that sort of stuff, couple that jumped to mind straight away, Charlotte Flair. She's had an iffy relationship with WWE last year or two.
Very true.
Could see her wrestling out her contract and moving over. That would be a very interesting injection into the women's division in AEW. 100% keep her as a heel, and then if there's ever a time for Britt Baker to turn face, it's when Charlotte Flair turns up.
That is a good shout.
So that would be really interesting. Another one for me is going a slightly different route and bringing in a tag team. The team formerly known as the Iconics. I believe they're an Impact now.
Okay, the Inspiration.
Yep. Not necessarily the best individually, female wrestlers in the world, but as a team, they're very good. They're very well known. They've got a big social media presence. They've got a podcast. I think they bring a lot of eyeballs, and I think they're absolutely good enough that they can be a solid tag team in there. Aye, they're very good.
So
very good. Aye. So I'd like to see them as well. When you're talking about sort of star power and that sort of stuff, just in terms of talent and beefing up the division, I'd love to see the likes of like Shayna Baszler and stuff like that. The kind of even what's her with the short hair, the big tall one,
Rhea Ripley.
Aye, her as well. The sort of harder workers, you know what I mean? I'd like to see them kind of lean into that and go for because there's a few of them in WWE, especially the ones that have came through NXT, that they're very much not like they're the opposite of divas, but WWE insist on trying to book them into silly stupid angles that I think they're wasted, and there's a few of them that are wasted in WWE.
There's a few that are being wasted in AEW currently, mate. I mean, for me, like,
this is true.
Where's Ruby Soho went?
No.
Where is she went?
But is this again though? Like, what do you do with her? Because the other ones are the other top females are currently in a story with somebody else. Like, this is what I mean. Like, you have to try and beef it up with some more quality, so that there can be a constant, like, consistently.
Oh, well, that's true. Where you're bringing people in and out. I get what you're saying there.
Just since you mentioned Ruby Soho, she was actually on that episode of Dark Elevation.
She'd been Elevation. She's fit.
She was actually in a tag match teaming with Anna Jay.
Yeah,
and they weren't bad together. I didn't hate it.
Anna Jay is a very good young wrestler. Considering again, she's one that, I mean, when she had her debut for AEW, that was, I think, either, I mean, I might be wrong here, it was either her 4th match or her 7th match in total.
Right.
For real. When she debuted in AEW Dynamite it was against Hikaru Shida, so it was against a very established wrestler. But that was due to the fact that during the beginning of the pandemic, they couldn't get anybody to the factory, which was where they did the tapings out of. So they did it in like QT Marshall's gym, the Nightmare Factory. They basically kitted it out for an AEW Dynamite show, and Anna Jay was one of the students, and she just happened to get lucky, and that's how she got in the door with AEW. So again, she's somebody that's very much at the beginning of her career.
Okay,
which is,
she's got a lot of time to improve.
I mean, she's a young girl. Like she's another that's in her she's only in her early 20s, just a young lassie. Like, but for me, the biggest issue with AEW's women's division is giving them time. Like, giving what they've got time.
Give time.
And stop going back to the well with the same old process. Like, the last 3 challenger title holders have all had the same first feud, which is Nyla Rose. That's lazy.
Aye.
That's lazy.
Aye.
They can do better than that.
Oh, just remembered something I want to ask you about. Thoughts on brain? What is the lassie's name? God damn it, Willow something. The lassie she was in the
Willow Nightingale.
That's the one. She was on the Supercard of Honor and the interim women's title match. So she debuted in AEW against Red Velvet.
So she's not AEW signed talent. She's not with anybody yet. She was in ROH.
Right.
Oh.
So
I thought she was
that was a qualifying match for the Owen Hart thing.
Owen Hart tournament. Yeah.
Now, I'm calling bullshit there. I think that is shite booking. I think that Willow. I think that Willow should have won that, and that they should have offered. They should have made a point of announcing that she was now All Elite. No, All Elite. Aye, that's right. That's what they were the graphic.
All Elite.
My brain went. My brain got confused about the elite
being elite.
I was like, oh no, that's not it. I think that she should have won that match, and that they should have made a point of making it known that she was now signed from there.
I think I agree with you, Mick. I think they missed a trick there. The crowd were very much on her side. She's good. I mean, we said that. I'm sure me and you, when we were watching the Ring of Honor show, we said that this lassie is very good.
Yep, ton of potential.
She was a lot of potential, very good worker, very different, like a powerful wrestler, but yet she's somehow an underdog and a babyface.
Yep.
It's a very unusual combo, but totally for it, man, totally for it. The crowd clearly wanted her to win, and obviously it's down to the fact that it's a contracted wrestler against an uncontracted wrestler. So despite the fact that they made it believable enough where you thought, oh, Willow might win this. Like, the match was well done by the two girls, and fair play to them. I would have probably liked to have seen more of Willow, and I think we might in time. I just if they've got plans to sign her in the future, why not give her that victory? Why not?
What do you think about Asuka in AEW?
Oh, I'm not ready for Asuka. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm absolutely ready to see more Asuka. That was her catchphrase in NXT. But I mean, she's not been in WWE forever. I don't remember the last time I seen her on WWE TV. I believe she was injured, but I mean, perfect. Get her over to AEW. She's one that, by the way, here's a bit of homework for the two years. It's under her old ring name. Now I may butcher it. I think it's Kana. Her old ring name was, but it's her versus Minoru Suzuki in a match.
What?
For real, look it up, man. It is violent. Minoru Suzuki had a lot to do with her kind of rise and her kind of training.
Right.
Have a look for it, man. It is
Interesting.
eye-opening and tough. That girl is tough. You'll understand. Report back to me next meet when you've watched Minoru Suzuki versus Asuka.
Sounds insane. I
You'll
think
not be the same
Okay, no
person.
problem.
for what it's worth, I believe she appeared in a backstage segment during WrestleMania, briefly,
Oh, really? Is that it, man?
Okay.
Dear God, what a shame.
from memory.
I
Aye.
mean, she's awesome. Again, the problem with Asuka is she's been with WWE a long time, and I think she's got a lot. It is in fact Kana, by the way, because her YouTube channel is Kana-chan, I'm sure, where she like makes kind of traditional Japanese kind of food.
All right.
Well, how do you spell it? Like,
Kana.
oh, okay.
That's it. And obviously it's Minoru Suzuki she's in a match with. But anyway, to move us back on, obviously I Asuka perfect. Anybody else, Harvey?
No, Charlotte Flair. That's
Charlotte
what I
Flair,
was thinking. And obviously that's who I was thinking about when you were talking about the
Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool.
I mean,
Like I put Charlotte Flair in there.
we've seen her chuck and shoot strikes anyway against Nia Jax, obviously. So more of that kind of temper, definitely. That was a laugh, if nothing else. She's definitely off her throne, the kind of heavier punches. That's absolute certainty. Oh,
Why did I not think of this before? Is it Marina Shafir?
she's currently signed with AEW.
She's no longer signed in AEW. Her style would fit perfectly with Blackpool Combat Club if they wanted a woman.
That's also a good shout. Aye, she's against. She's going against Jade for the
title.
TBS belt.
Yep.
For what could potentially be Jade's 30th victory.
You've got to think. I think that she's going to get to her, and I don't like it because I think that's going to hurt. Well, I mean, maybe there's a way they can book it.
Depends. I get the feeling backstage they've been working in this match for a while, so I am actually confident that this is going to be a good match.
Right. Okay.
I feel that there's been a bit of work done in this. Definitely should be a very good match coming up. But I mean, they're all pretty good suggestions. Harvey, mate, that was a good wee bit of stuff to chew over there. We will absolutely hear from you for a random question next week if you're up for it, mate. Would you like to fire us in next week?
I'll wait till next week to ask you.
Oh yes, he's already got one. Ladies and gents, you just need to wait till next week because we are out of time in this podcast this week. Obviously, as I said at the start of the podcast, many ways to get in touch. YouTube, social media, Twitter. We love our wee bit of tweeting the news, so we do. And guys tweeting into us, absolutely love it. Would you believe Brock Anderson, in fact, liked that tweet for our good friend Andy as well?
Nice.
Asking us to check out the match in Dark Elevation. And would you believe it? Brock's mum even liked it. Alan's wife is all away.
Yes.
Love it.
Unbelievable. So there you go. Mashed Tattie worldwide on the smallest of scales possible. But fuck it, we are taking it.
We just need Arn and then we've got a full
Did
house.
it, boys.
Oh my God!
there you
That's.
go.
I mean, is he got any brothers? I bet he has. The Doug. Is the Doug at Twitter? Arn's Doug.
Oh.
Awesome, but like I say, it is really, we're running out of time again, guys. We banter and the time just disappears. And now we're at the end, man. Now we're at the end. We'll see you all later. Goodbye.
See you, bye.
Bye, driver.